quick story, and then we're going to read this scripture. There was a man playing golf. He kept missing. Every time he swung, he just missed. He just terrible golfer. But he loved the game. He said, Lord, if you would, just let me get a hole in one. I promise I'll serve you. Just let me get a hole in one. He got a hole in one. Loved it. Felt so overjoyed. He was excited. He loved that feeling. He said, Lord, I wish I could feel this way all the time. If you just let me get a hole in one every time, Lord, I'll serve you. So he went out there, and every time he swung, he got a hole in one. Every single time, hole in one. Every single time, hole in one. Every single time, hole in one. Every time, hole in one. He tried to miss it and hole in one. He swung that way and hole in one. But it got to the point where he got bored.
Too easy.
Got too easy. Everything kept going too good. Every time I swing, I make it.
Yes.
He got so frustrated, he just threw his clubs in the ocean or in the lake. He said, I don't even want to play anymore. He said, God, why would you do this to me?
Yes.
And a little voice said, who said I was him? You got to be careful which Lord you're calling on. Because there's a lot of us praying for some stuff that we're not ready for. And we say, Lord, if you do it, I'll serve you. But what master do you end up serving? There's some people begging for cars and houses and men and women that they not ready for. So you mess around and get this stuff too early, and now you out of place. Because the right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing. So as we get ready to go into 2018, let's go in with a faith-filled heart, with a faith-filled mind, believing that we're going to receive what God has for us, and not just what we want for us.
That's real good.
Turn your Bibles to Matthew chapter 14.
That's real good.
Matthew chapter 14. Going to give you a little bit more, then we're going to wrap it up. We want to take the time to pray for each and every one of you as we get ready to go into this new year. Matthew 14, we're going to start at the 25th verse. We'll jump down to the 25th verse. As was mentioned earlier, Jesus had fed a multitude of people, 5,000 men, not counting women and children, with 5 loaves and 2 fish. And it was a wonderful miracle. After this miracle, he sent his disciples off into the boat. He said, go ahead and cross this body of water. I'll meet you on the other side. So we pick up in Matthew 14 and 25 with that story. It says, during the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Come, he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink. Cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why did you doubt? You may be seated. Again, I want to speak to you about a faith-filled year. How many of you have the faith to keep on going? Let me just poll the audience real quick. Through sickness, through pain, through death, through the destruction, how many of you have the faith to keep on going?
Hallelujah.
All right, I got a few hands. Hopefully we'll have more by the end. We'll paint a picture. There's a storm outside. Storm raging, storm brewing, winds blowing, the waves are crashing up against the boat. And out in the middle of the lake, something is coming towards them. I'm going to do my best to break this down for you, because I know there's some people that feel like they're having some storms in their lives, and there's some things coming towards you and you don't know what it is. You just see something heading your way. You don't know whether it's good or whether it's bad. You just know something is coming my way. So the disciples look out and they start to freak out. They get afraid. They're terrified. And Jesus says, oh, Lord, take courage. It's me. I know I'm the only one that's ever been in that situation, to where you looking and you scared about what's going on around you.
Come on.
You freaking out. And you don't know what to do. And God is just saying, come on, it's me. You walking with me, right? So it doesn't matter what you're going through. Calm down. It's me. I'm with you. You with me. Calm down. Take courage. Peter being Peter said, that's not enough. Bid me to come to you. If you Jesus, like you say you are, if you God, if you can do all this stuff, if you can heal the sick, if you can raise the dead, if you can do all these things and more, bid me to come to you.
Come on.
Because I want to do what you're doing. You call yourself a creator. I want to be a creator.
All right. All right.
You say that you're a provider. I want to be a provider. I'm just ministering to myself at this point.
Come on. Come on.
Because if he is, and I'm in him, and he's in me, then I should be able to replicate what he did. If he creates, I should be able to create. If he provides, I should provide. If he said, I'm blessing you to be a blessing, that's provision for somebody else. I don't want to just be able to pay my bills. I want to be able to pay somebody else's bills. Come on, somebody. If he's a creator and he made the whole world and everything that we see, I should be able to create some businesses. I should be able to create some books. I should be able to create some things and put some life into someone else. Come on, somebody. I'm the only one. To me, 2018 is bigger than me. This thing coming at me is bigger than me. See, when Jesus was coming towards Peter, Peter said, bid me to walk on this water to do what you do. See, if you just stay in the boat and live your life in mediocrity, why should anybody ever remember you?
Come on, you saying something.
I don't know, it is what, 2,000 years or so later and we still telling this story?
All right.
Because this man did something great.
That's exactly right.
He defied gravity. He decided that I'm not going to stay in this situation. Everybody around me is comfortable in this boat.
Comfortable. Just enough.
Here you go, here you go, here you go. They terrified just like I am. But they don't want to move. They're just dealing with it. They're just afraid and they're freaking out and they're scared. But for me, I'm saying, Lord, if it's you putting me through this stuff, if it's you allowing me to go through this, bid me to come to you. Because I don't want to just go through this situation for no reason. I need to go through this so that I can tell the story later about how he bid me to come to him and I walked on water. I did something that was so outside of the realm of possibility that now people are having to tell the story ages later. Bid me to come to you. So Peter steps out, walks on water, defies gravity, does something so great that we have to remember him for doing it. But then he did something that so many of us do. Yet again, he got afraid. Started to sink. Started to fall prey to what everybody else had to say. See, that's the way I look at it, because that's what the wind is a lot of times.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's just the words of these people. They have no power, but they do show effects.
Jesus.
Because you don't see the wind, but you see the effects of the wind. See, people can say a whole bunch of stuff, and you don't see them words, but you see the effects of those words. He preaching good. He is. Those words that people speak into your life can take great effect on you. That's why you have to be careful who you surround yourself with.
That's it. Amen to that.
And it comes a time where you may have to distance yourself from those that you roll with. I know.
Drop them off. That's it.
I know we fed some people together. I know we did some great things a little while ago, and I know we on this boat together. We riding, we tight like that. We good, but see, I'm not trying to stay in this situation with y'all terrified folks. Lord, if it's you, bid me to come to you. See, we remember Beethoven, we remember Bach, we remember Handel and Brahms. We remember these great composers.
Come on, you saying something?
I know that.
Tupac, we remember Biggie, we remember
You got to catch them up in your time.
I gotta get close where they at. Jordan hadn't played a game in I don't know how long,
Still talking about it.
but we still remember him and call him the GOAT. There's people that have done great things, and we remember them because they did some great things.
That's correct.
We remember how Tyson used to jump in the ring, and you may not even make it to the second round because he was that great of a fighter. That if you made it to the third and fourth, they were looking at you like you're a great fighter because you stood up to the greatest and you took some punches and you're still standing. Well, we can look back and remember these people because they did some great things, But a lot of us will never be remembered, and I'm just having to be honest with you. I'm this brutal with my kids. I'm gonna be real with y'all too. Some of us will never be remembered because we real good at a whole bunch of stuff, but we great at nothing.
Come on, you said something. You said something.
I'm just being honest. See, AJ, if I wanted to, I could grab me a pair of sticks. I could take some lessons and I could learn to play the drums. If I wanted to, Tim, I could go get me an organ. I could take some lessons and I can learn how to play.
Come on, you saying something.
I could. But I got Tim. And I got AJ.
Come on now.
Why do I need to learn how to do that? You can't preach like me.
No, sir.
But you can't preach like her.
That's correct.
And you can't preach like him. But why do you need to? You already have us.
No need to.
Come on, son.
Let them do what they do.
Rodney said, if you hang around me long enough, I'm going to get you to come out your shell. I'm going to get you to be an outgoing individual just like me. I said, Rodney, why do I need to do that when I have you? He said, just hang around me, man. It's going to rub off on you. I said, well, if that's the case, I'm going to hang around Shelby so I can start hitting some high notes. He said, man, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. I said, I know.
Amen.
You got your gifts and I got mine. So let me do me and you do you.
Amen.
I need him because he's able to do some things that I'm not able to do. Now, if I really wanted to, I could go out there and I could force myself to become something that I'm not. But I learned a long time ago when I started looking at somebody else's lane, I started veering that way. And see, what happens is if I'm focused on you and your driving, my driving gets out of alignment. You have to get to a place where you have enough faith that the driver beside you in their lane is going to maintain their lane. And then the driver on the other side is going to maintain their lane. Now, every now and then we check the mirrors and we look over to the side and make sure they're in their place. But if you don't spend the majority of your life focused on your own lane, you're going to mess around and bump into somebody else. And now we got a mess because you know in Atlanta, if you bump into somebody and cause an accident, we're going to be backed up for 20 miles. So you start messing up everybody else's lives because you can't maintain your own lane.
You preaching real good.
So the first thing we have to do to have a faith-filled life is understand how to maintain our own lane. See, my father is great at what he does, and I let him do him.
And that's all he gonna do.
Because if I start veering over into his lane, I get out of my lane. Right. So now I'm no longer good at what I'm good at. Right. And that means I can no longer be great at what I'm supposed to be great at. If I start trying to preach and teach like him and play like AJ and sing like Shelby, eventually there's going to be none of me left.
You making that real plain.
We'll go ahead and move on to the second point because I think they got that one.
Yes, sir.
So rolling right into that, maintaining your own lane means focusing. We have to get to a place in life where we learn how to focus. Focus is one of the biggest things. I key in on it. I tell people all the time, I'm able to achieve the things that I achieve because I know how to focus.
Come on, come on.
He can tell you, and I keep referring to him because he's probably the only person I talk to on a regular basis. But he'll call me, and I won't pick up. He'll call me again, man. I guess you're busy, man. That's how you do when you're busy.
Yep.
Yeah. If I'm focused on something, my phone is nowhere near me. Everything else is turned off because I'm writing right now. And this has my attention. You have to learn how to focus on whatever it is that you're doing so that you can become great at that thing instead of just being good at a whole bunch of stuff.
That's real good stuff.
Bust a bubble real quick. There's no such thing as multitasking.
It's up. Only in the world.
It's like having too many windows open on your computer. You're slowing down your processing speed. So you're not necessarily multitasking. You're just switching from one thing to the next. And now you have to recover. You ever been in the midst of something, you just been on a roll and you get a phone call and you got to take that call. Now what you got to do?
Change focus.
You got to refocus now. You got to try to get back where you were. Oh, Lord, ain't nobody walking with me.
I'm with you. Keep going.
This is what happens in life. I'm going to take it right down your alley. When you start focusing on everybody else's house, you'll start seeing your marriage slipping off. When you start focusing on everybody else's businesses, you'll start slipping in your own business. When you focus at work on the job everybody else is doing, your work starts slipping off. Then when you finally get back in touch with your own reality, now you got to refocus, because that time that you took away, now some things have changed, and now you got to catch up with where things are now. So you put yourself behind because you were trying to do too much at one time. We're not programmed to live life like that. We're programmed to focus on something. God said, Adam, I want you to name these animals. That's your job. You have one job. Focus on that job. Then he had to throw a woman in the mix. Lord, I was doing good at my job. Come on. And here you go, throwing this woman in the mix.
Change the focus. You gotta refocus. You gotta refocus.
I ain't gonna spend too much time on that. I had a talk, I'll just say, with somebody about polygamy. And I said, brother, quite honestly, I'm not that person. I have enough trouble focusing on one woman. I don't know what I would do with two.
All right.
3, brother, you might as well go ahead and get my casket together.
Would have been ugly.
What I try to do is focus on whoever I'm with and make that the best relationship possible. See, if I start focusing on too many people, now I got to remember who got the flowers last time and whose birthday, because I'm not good with dates. I had a situation this week. I went over to a friend's house and I said, hey, I'm going to sit with you till midnight. We're going to bring in your birthday together. And she said, my birthday ain't for 2 more days. I said, golly, I'm going home. Took a piece of cake.
Yes, sir. You got to refocus.
I said, here you cake, happy birthday. You know, we're going to bring in your birthday together. And she was like, hey, my birthday's in 2 days. It's on the 30th. I said, I could have swore it was the 28th. So it's not the 28th. No, I know who my birthday is. See, I'm not the best with dates, so I have to have some people around me that are good with those numbers, because they can help me to get things in alignment. So then later on, when it was their birthday, I was able to say, hey, happy birthday, love y'all. And then, of course, that's where we get to these people calling me up saying, oh, you got 2 women, man. You got all the ladies. Oh, brother, you just do it. I said, man, please. I'm happily single. Those are friends, well, a friend and an ex-girlfriend, and I'm grateful for both of them, because one thing I've learned in life is how to maintain a relationship. Somebody say amen. See, because the way I feel is if I ever loved you, I can continue to love you even after we're together.
All right.
But see, that's just me. I've learned how to focus on myself and focus on what's in front of me. So if I can learn how to focus on people and maintain a good relationship, I believe God will set me up with the relationship that I desire. There's a lot of people begging to get married, but you can't be a good friend to your friends. Come on. I was with him, now I'm leaving. I can't believe he said that. We pray for the right man. God, send me a man. I want to get married tomorrow. But then you can't even comfort your friend when she going through something. You can't be a friend because, come on somebody, y'all ain't with me right now. You want something that you're not ready for. You're not practicing these right things to get you to where you want to be. He said you got to be faithful over a few before I'll make you master over much. You got to be able to watch over another's vision before you'll have your own. See, you have to learn how to do good with what you already have before you can expect to get some more.
You got to find where you are if you want to go somewhere else.
You got to learn how to blossom where you planted. See, you got to learn how to be a good brother before you can be a good husband. You got to learn how to be a good friend before you can be somebody's spouse. Because I get too many people saying, I want to marry my best friend. But then when I find their best friend, I say, is that really your friend? Because if that's the type of friendship you want from a man, you can get that from any Negro off the street. So if you're looking for something and you asking God to do something for you, you need to start doing the right thing in your own life.
In your own life.
We say, Lord, bless me with a business. I want to have my own business, but you don't even go to work on time.
That don't work with business.
I'm just trying to help the people because I know in 2018 we start setting resolutions and I'm going to start a business, but you can't get to work on time. Then when you do get to work, you got to spend 20 minutes getting ready to work. If your seat isn't adjusted right or your coffee ain't quite hot enough, we got to try to find you somewhere in the break room. When you run your own business, nobody's coming to look for you. So if you don't show up, you don't show up and no work gets done, no money gets made, no bills get paid.
You better say that.
You have to learn how to serve over someone else's vision. When I was at Delta, I was the best employee. I won't say that. I was a good employee. I was pretty good. I was good enough that they kept on elevating me though. They promoted me into a position that wasn't even available. They just came to me one day and said, "Hey, we want you to go over to social media."
That's a good employee.
My supervisor came to me. She said, "I know you hate this job, but you're the best person on my team. Imagine how good you could be if you actually like coming here." I said, "You may have a point, but you ain't gonna change my mind. Because I'm just gonna put in my time until I can get out of here." But I was there early. I got all my work done. Like she said, I was the best on the team. Because no matter how much I hated the job, I still put my best foot forward. Because that's all I know how to do. See, and when you practice those types of things, you continue to build on those types of things. So when you go into your own business, all you know how to do is act in a spirit of excellence. These are the things that you have to learn how to practice. So when you can't come to church on time, they are not going to say, "Why was he looking at me? I ain't going back to that church and keep calling me out." When you can't show up on time, but you still want this man, and then you're going to be late and he got to sit there and wait for you, and after a while, we get tired of waiting. After a while, the man just say, "Look, I'm going without you, whatever." So you praying for something, but you ain't preparing for it.
Come on.
You saying big can come to you, but you ain't stepping out the boat. Come on, somebody.
Come on. You saying it real good.
Saying, "Lord, I want to do what you do. I want to walk on water," but you still trying to hold on to the side of the boat. You don't want to make that move. You want to put your feet in the water real quick and kick it up and make somebody think that you're going to get in the pool, but you're really not going to step in. I got my hair done. I got my nails done. I came to look cute. I'm not actually coming to get in. And that's what we have going on in the church today. We got a lot of folks that's coming just putting their foot in and want to look like they may get involved and may get in the pool, but then they never do. But you better rest assured that they have cute, they nails done, and they dress on point. They ain't getting involved in this much. If I get in, I might get wet. If I get involved, they might mess my hair up. They might find out about my life. They may realize that this ain't really my hair. I'm just saying. If I jump in there, it may uncover some things, you know. They told me when you go on your first date with a girl nowadays, you got to take them to a pool party and get their makeup off of them. So you can see what you're really dealing with. So we got some people that come to church and they too pretty to get involved because they don't want to reveal what's really beneath.
That's real good.
I'm too scared for you to find out how I really am, because if I really jump in this water, I'm in it now. I might get scared while I'm in it and I might start to sink and they may see that I'm sinking. And Peter had to say, "Lord, you got to save me because I'm in this thing now." And that's what I learned about this walk.
Come on, make that.
I don't live my life trying to be a Christian. I just am.
That's all you got to do. Just be one.
I don't try to be a father. I am one. You either are or you are not.
Ain't no in between.
Whether you decide that you can or you can't, either way you're right. See, the thing about life, I told my son yesterday, I said, when you ask, son, go in asking as if you're going to receive it. It's a lot of us asking, but we're not sure. We're not certain.
You better say
See,
it.
that's what faith is. Faith is that certainty. Faith is that thing that says, Lord, if you bid me to come to you, I believe I'm going to be able to walk. If you call me to this position, I believe I'm going to be able to fulfill the task.
Make that plan.
If you call me to this marriage, I believe I'm going to be able to stand up to the task and whatever it may bring my way. You have to go into something believing that it's going to work out for your good. And even if it does go wrong, even while you're in the midst of it, you still have to be able to call out, Lord, save me. Some of us get too proud, too arrogant, and think that we're going through some stuff and we don't want to admit it. See, you have to get to a point in life where you're not afraid to call on some help.
Come on, tell the truth. Tell the truth.
See, I could have repeated those same little tests that I talked to you about earlier. When the money got slow and things got down, I could have went back and did some things. So trust me, I know how to make money. I can make money any day of the week, but it may not be all that legal. But because I didn't want to repeat those old ways and make those old mistakes, I had to call out for some help. My mama said, don't you sit down there in the house with no food and no gas no more. You let us know. So when things went bad, Daddy had an accident. And they had to write Daddy a big check. So when my life went down, I had some help to pick me up yet again. See, I was a proud man. I tell you in a heartbeat, I was very proud. I don't like to admit when I failed. I didn't want to admit that I couldn't do something on my own. So the type of man that I've been in my life is I'll say, hey, I'll go find an old friend, scrape together some money, and get me something, because I get back on my feet one way or another. That's the man that I used to be. But how many of you know when you lay that old life down, you got to let it stay dead?
Leave him dead.
Because you walk around dragging an old dead man and you can't get too far in life. You jump on in the water and you will get weighed down because you got an anchor that you've latched yourself to. So some of us have to cut the ties that bind and let go of the old ways because they're holding you back from being the better person that God wants you to be. So in 2018, I'm trying to be the best version of me. Even if that means calling on some help. Saying, hey, I can't do it this month. Can you help me out? Okay, I ain't getting no amen. Stop acting like you got it all together.
Yes, sir.
Stop pretending like you're doing everything right. If you can't parent your children, you better call on somebody that's been parenting for a while longer. Before you end up punching one of them little jokers in the chest, and now you ain't, now you behind bars.
10 or 15.
Because you couldn't deal with your situation and didn't want to call on no help.
10 or 15.
Don't wait for things to get so out of control that you lose it. Going to my third point. That means I'm almost done. I just need to deliver this last little piece of the message. Some of you people have overdrafted your spiritual accounts.
Overdraft and no protection.
Because see, the third little point is to have a faith-filled life and a faith-filled years. You got to learn how to give more.
All right.
You can't get out of something what you don't put into it.
Come on, you gotta say something.
We remember Michael Jordan is one of the best basketball players to ever play the game, but you wasn't with him shooting in the gym. You wasn't with him putting in all them hours, shooting all them free throws, hundreds of shots every day. He was putting in work. We want the skills, but we don't want to pay. I told you, he the boss now, and you got to pay the cost to be the boss. You know, you got to put in some work. You got to work some weekends. You got to do some things that you may not want to do. He said, I really want to be at church. I said, but you really need to be in that job. Somehow he still made his way in here. But this is the life we live. In order for you to get more out of a relationship, you got to learn how to put more into a relationship. I'm going to help y'all.
Make it plain.
Some of them don't like when I talk about relationships, but I know it's a few of them that do because they know I'm real with them. And I tell them some things that a lot of these other men wouldn't tell them because I ain't trying to get with none of y'all. Thank you, Gabriel. He said he dropped the hammer heavy. Yes, I did. It's not that y'all are not beautiful individuals. All of y'all are beautiful to me, but I ain't doing that. Because y'all ain't gonna run around talking about, yeah, our pastor be sleeping with everybody. He's a bigger man and So I'm just putting that out there. Let each and every one of y'all know, don't try to come up in this church thinking you're gonna get with the man of God. It don't work that way. Matter of fact, most folks, if I meet you by way of this, I don't even date you. Because you're gonna think I'm this all the time. I'm not. A lot of times we get into relationships and we feel like we're putting a lot in, but we're not getting much out. Are you putting the right thing in?
Ooh, that's real good.
That's the question I need somebody to ask. What are you putting in? See, every man can't be rich the same way. Every woman can't be rich the same way. There's different love languages. Some people respond because of words of affirmation. Some people respond through gifts. There's different ways that we all respond, and you have to learn the language that the person that you're with speaks. That's why I say I can't do polygamy. Because I'm too focused and keyed in on what it is the woman that I'm with needs.
Make that plain.
If it's words of affirmation that you need, then I have to become that guy that can speak into your life like you need me to. If it's gifts that you need, then I got to find my way to the florist because I need to do whatever it is you need from me. Because I don't need you going out there and finding some 20%er that's going to give you 20% of what you're not getting at my house, and now I can't find you no more. He got real today. I know.
You preaching, dog.
So I don't know what these guys are doing when they're running around and having all these young ladies and they're messing up all these people's lives. See, some of y'all putting into the wrong relationships. You're trying to get something out of someone that's not willing to give. You have to give to the right thing. How many of you know if you invest in the wrong stocks and the stocks go down, you lost whatever you put in because you didn't put it into the right thing. But if you put it into the right thing and that value goes up, you just won. You made money, you accrued, you made some interest, you made some money off of your investment. Some of us just made some bad investments. That's why we have to practice a faith-filled life. So that we go out there and make the decisions that God would have us to make and not the decisions that we want to make.
That's real good. That's right.
Says that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, He will give us the desires of our heart. That doesn't mean that He's going to give you the car that you really want. Because God couldn't care less about that car you drive.
You better say it.
But if you delight yourself in the ways of the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. Meaning that if I delight myself in Him and He wants me to be a business owner, He will put that inside my heart. And now I will chase after that. See, this is what we have to do in 2018 to be successful individuals. We have to learn how to focus on what it is God wants us to focus on. Whatever it is that you're doing, do that one thing great. Focus on it and don't worry about whatever everybody else is doing. Learn how to key in on what God has for you and just be the best you that you can be. But if you keep on making investments into the wrong accounts and then trying to withdraw from the other accounts, after a while you're going to be in a bad situation because you're withdrawing from an account that you're putting nothing in.
And it runs out.
It runs out and now you have overdraft fees and now you're in a worse position than you started out in. And that's what so many of us are doing with God. We invest in other people. We spend hours on the phone with folks that couldn't care less about us. We show up to every event that does not enrich us. We put time and effort into games and television shows and movies and all these things that add no value to our lives.
Make that plain.
But then we come to church and expect to get something out of it. But I'm challenging you for this coming year. If you want to get more out, you have to put more in. And don't think for a second it's all about money. Because that's not it. You have to get involved. You have to do something. It said, I can't even remember the statistic, but the time you spend with a child is way more valuable than the money you spend on a child. Amen. That's from a child's mouth. Preaching real good. The time you spend with them. I told my son this morning, I said, boy, I don't want to, but because it's important to him, I said, we'll stay up tonight, we'll pop some popcorn, we'll play some games, we'll bring in the new year together, because that's what he desires. That's what he needs. My son couldn't care less about the shoes on his feet. He don't care if they Jordans. He wouldn't know if they were or not.
He don't look at them.
He don't look at his shoes. He don't care about his shoes as long as there's something on his feet. And half the time he don't even care if it's something on his feet. He just do what he's doing. My son will wear the same shirt every day if I let him. Because he doesn't care about the clothes. He's just focused on getting done whatever it is he wants to get done. That's me. I can look at him and see so much of myself. I'm task oriented. I don't care about the clothes. I don't care about the shoes. I gotta be forced to buy new shoes. Only reason I'm wearing new shoes is because my mom said, you gotta get some shoes. I'm tired of seeing the same shoes. You know, that's why it's good to have a mama. And that's also why I tell women, I don't need another mama no more. I have one and she on her job. I don't need another mother. But this is how life is. We have to focus on what it is we focus on. Because God will put other people around us to help us focus on some other thing. Yes. When it's time for me to get shoes, somebody gonna let me know. So I don't have to focus on my shoes. I can focus on delivering the word of God. I can focus on writing his word. I can focus on doing what he's put me here to do, because there's some other people around me that have been tasked with some other jobs.
Yes.
And they help me stay in my lane.
Yes.
So when you get out of focus, you got to have some people around you that'll get you back. So in 2018, let's focus on building some good relationships with some people that are going to keep us where we need to be.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Say that again, because I think somebody missed it.
In 2018, let's focus on building relationships with people that are going to get us or keep us where we need to be.
Keep.
Yes, God.
You're doing good now. A lot of y'all doing real good, and we're grateful for it. But let's aim for greatness. So whatever you do it to the best of your abilities. Focus on that thing. You can't be the president of every ministry. Be the best president of one of them. You can't be a part of everything. I know you may have a heart and a desire to do it, and we're grateful for that, but we want you to excel at what you're good at. Pick something, focus on it, stick to it, build some good relationships, focus on your household. We don't want you losing your stuff because you focused on everybody else's stuff.
Come on, you telling the truth.
That's right.
We are going somewhere, we are getting somewhere wonderful and great. How many of you have the faith that you are going to get somewhere great? Praise God, we got more than
Glory to God.
I'm just a believer that God did not put me in this mess because he didn't like me.
You better say that.
He allowed me to go through some things to build me into a better person. He's the potter and I'm the clay.
Yes.
He's molding and shaping me and making me to be the person he wants me to be. So in this coming year, don't get mad because things go bad. Start to worship. Because you're right where he wants you to be. Doors of the church are open. If you're in need of a Savior, the doors are open to you. If you want to join this church, the doors are open, and we're going to have prayer in just a minute.
Grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm grateful for the victories we won. I could go on and on and on about your word. Because I'm grateful, grateful, grateful just to praise you, Lord.
What I'm going to ask everybody to do while they're still singing, if you would, form a line down the middle of this aisle. Everybody in the building, form a line down the middle of this aisle. And as you get up to the front, we're going to ask that the two of them come and pray for you. So if you're watching via Facebook or anything, God bless you and have a good year.